MIZZOU basketball is back, people, and today I'm here to tell you why. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to College Hoops Tonight. As always, I am your host, Austin Samuels, and today we are talking about Missouri basketball and why it will be back on the rise back in 2022-2023. So first of all, let's look at what they did last year. They weren't very good last year. 21 losses on the campaign, 12-21. They were 5-13 in the SEC. And to be honest, they sucked because they couldn't score the basketball. They scored 65 points a game, which isn't really going to cut it in a Power 5 conference. They hit 28% of their threes. They were a bad, poor offensive team. They weren't efficient. They couldn't spread the floor. They didn't push the pace enough. They relied too much on their defense, and it killed them against some really talented offensive teams in the SEC. However, the tides are turning for MIZZOU. They hired Dennis Gates to be their new head coach this year. He coached at Cleveland State for the past 3 years and was really successful. He led Cleveland State to 2 regular season Horizon League championships, and he built a winning culture there. And I think he's going to bring that to MIZZOU, and he brought a few of his players with him. So let's take a look at some of the players that he brought along to MIZZOU that's going to turn this program around. Do you love college basketball? Do you want to be a part of a community that lives and breathes college basketball? Well, my friends, you have come to the right place. Here at College Hoops Tonight, we talk everything college basketball, from the transfer portal, recruiting classes, game predictions, and betting advice. If that sounds appealing to you, subscribe down below and make sure to leave a comment on whether you think my take is right. I need some of y'all to keep me in check with some of the crazy predictions and stuff that I come up with. So MIZZOU honestly has an entirely new team this year. The only player who's really was a standout for them last year that's sticking around is Kobe Brown. And he is a forward for them, a 6'7" guy who scored about 12.5 a game last year, a solid rebounder and a little bit of a passer. He can't really shoot the 3 ball. However, he can score, and he was by far their most effective scorer on the roster last year. I think he's going to have a big role starting at power forward and be one of the low post anchors for this team. But let's get into these 6 impact players that Dennis Gates managed to bring into MIZZOU for next year. The first one, obviously, is Isaiah Mosley. The 20-point-per-game scorer from Missouri State should be an absolute lethal weapon for Missouri and that go-to guy right off the bounce. He was a 50, 40, 90 guy last year at Missouri State. Yes, that is a weaker conference in the Missouri Valley. However, I think he's going to be a deadly threat in the SEC as well. The next guy we got is Trey Gomillion. Trey Gomillion is a guy that came over from Cleveland State with Dennis Gates. He is a small point guard who can handle the basketball a little bit, score around 10 points a game last year. Good little facilitator. He may get some starting minutes at the point guard, and he could score a little bit efficiently as well. The next guy we got is Demoy Hodge. This guy is just a scorer and shooter, just plain and simple. Averaged around 14 points a game last year, also at Cleveland State. He, is just a pure shooter-scorer. It should be a guy who probably comes off the bench, but can just light it up and be a little bit of a microwave out. The next guy we got is Noah Carter from Northern Iowa University. This should be the main low-post threat for this offense next year. He scored 15 points per game at Northern Iowa. He can do it really inside and out. He's not the best three-point shooter, however, he can spread it out from out there, close to 30% from him, but he should be a reliable offensive threat both on the inside and outside. He's also a very versatile defender. The next guy we got is the only Power 5 transfer, as a matter of fact, which is Nick Honor, the point guard from the University of Clemson. He's a great ball handler, playmaker, and, obviously, ACC pedigree. He is a veteran. He should probably come in and start at point guard for MIZZOU and that calming presence and a good ball handler in the SEC should be really, really important for them. Now, the last guy we got is DeAndre Golston from the University of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, that is. He's really just a jitterbug shooter-scorer as well. 14 points per game last year for him. Could be a little more efficient. However, he is a good three-point shooter. And he's just another guy that they could bring off the bench that can get buckets for them and can space the floor. All right, so now that we've gone through all of the players on this team, let's talk about how they're going to play, right? Missouri last year didn't shoot the three ball well, as I said, didn't score well, didn't push the pace. I think that's going to completely change. I think Dennis Gates, well, first of all, he brings in a specific defensive style of basketball, which I think MIZZOU is going to adopt, which is going to make them dangerous on that end, and they've got some versatile defenders to back it up. However, I think offensively, they're going to push the pace. This team can shoot the three ball now. I mean, you've got guys, all of these transfers that they just brought in can hit the three ball. That's not at all what their team was like last year. I think if these guys all play off of each other, they could be even more efficient. Yes, their points per game numbers will obviously go down. However, their efficiency will increase, and they will start freaking winning, baby. This team is now 7 or 8 deep, which in college basketball, that's pretty good. A solid, talented 7 is really all you need nowadays. I mean, this team's talent has jumped dramatically. And if I'm looking at next season, this is a big-time sleeper in the SEC. I mean, I haven't looked at the entire conference as a whole, but I would not be surprised if MIZZOU jumped up to maybe a top 5 team in the SEC and an obvious NCAA tournament team next year. Alrighty, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support. If you haven't already, subscribe down below. I really appreciate the help. MIZZOU basketball is back, baby. You've been watching College Hoops Tonight. I am your host, as always, Austin Samuels. Have a terrific rest of your week.